If it's September 30th, 2015, this must be Cinema Cycle. It is a Wednesday. It is random media generator. Oh gosh. Wednesday, and it's Laserdisc Day, and today it's Back to the Future. Some good Michael J. Fox. Laserdisc, large widescreen format. I'll be curious because I really think about it. I have not seen this film since I think I first saw it in the movie theaters, as in seen it all the way through. So let's see if it stands up to the test of time before I get to parts 2 and 3, which are also on Laserdisc in the library. Since I haven't seen it in such a long time, I've forgotten how much lead-up story there is to this. And if you watch it again and you know what's going to happen, because you know all the characters so well after 3 movies, and you watch it now knowing what's going to happen later on, you see all this detail that they put in the back that you probably wouldn't have caught the first time. So we're like half hour in the movie, and we haven't even traveled back in time yet. We're just putting together all these pieces. So this is a cute movie, but it's kind of cute in a quaint little sort of way, because it's now getting kind of dated. It's almost 20 years old. And so now the idea of being in 1985 and going back to 1955, and the older folks see all these things that Marty can do, and it's like, okay, it's not really the future that they plan. It's just kind of funny. And now I'm in the scene where you forget where Marty has to seduce his mother, or was trying not to, and you discover out that your mother was really a slut before you were born. It's like, yeah, that's interesting. So watching this now, one of the things I don't like about it, and it was Hollywood tradition at the time, is the idea of the countdown scene, where you got to rush something, and so there's obviously a countdown timer. You have to get something done before the time runs out. There's actually about 2, maybe 3 of these in the last 30 minutes of the film, which gets to be a bit much. So, but also from watching it just in the overall context and genre of how they make these movies, there's a certain amount of slapstick, a certain amount of romantic comedy, a certain amount of science fiction here. One of the more interesting things is that this basically all comes down to the Frank Capra-esque morality tale of doing the right thing, and persevering through hardship will reward you, tenfold in the end, in a synergistic kind of way. So I have to assume at the very end of the movie they obviously set up the sequel, since it says to be continued. So I'm kind of making the assumption that this is probably the first, at least, big budget Hollywood movie that was actually designed with the concept of a trilogy, because obviously they milked it for a good decade. So it's a good movie, but it does show its age. So the credits have finally rolled. We'll get out the Cinema Cycle Bible, Hallie Wells Film Guide, and give you the unabashed counterpoint to the movie. Mind you, I do not read these prior to seeing the movie, so this is what somebody else thought. Back to the Future. With the help of a not-so-crazy scientist, a teenager goes back 30 years to make a man out of his dimwit father. Lighthearted Twilight Zone fantasy, which certainly pleased the international multitudes. Must have done really good overseas. And accelerates with wit, ideas, and infectious wide-eyed wonder, according to Variety magazine. Tune in next time for more Cinema Cycle goodness.